guys, Danielle at Danielle TBD.
Marisa at Marisa Rothman.
And this is our Vodcast. We have thoughts. And we're back with fall TV. And now we're up to Fox. So I'm going to talk about Red Band Society, which I really, really liked. I think it, as a pilot, was a really strong character-driven ensemble piece. And one of the reasons that I think I liked it as much as I did was the fact that I wasn't in tears at the end of every act. I think they did a really good job of balancing the tone, because you hear, hey, it's a show set in a hospital, a wing of the hospital where all of these kids are, and you automatically assume, well, they're all dying and I'm going to be miserable.
Yep.
And the main character who's narrating the story is a kid in a coma. You don't, exactly, but you don't know if he's gonna wake up, and that's sad, because he's adorable, and he's young, and he has his whole life ahead of him, and his dad is sad and crying over his body, and it's just it's a lot. But it is. But what I really liked about it was they got that. They said, we understand this is going to be a tough sell, and we're going to sell you on these kids and as people, and they spent so much of the pilot just really introducing you to the personalities of the kids and saying look, yeah, they're sick to varying degrees, but as odd as that is, some of their regular teenage problems are more front burner for them, because they're used to living with this. You're not, as the audience, but we're gonna make you used to it. We're gonna show you, what they're worried about right now, which, for some of them was relationships or school. We saw them in a classroom type setting, which I'm sorry, but if you're dying of cancer, you shouldn't have to go to school. So whatever.
It's not how it works.
I know, but it should be, because that's unfair. And then I think they also did a really interesting balance with the hospital staff and the quote unquote adult characters on the show, and making you see them as authorities, but not as villains in a weird way, because you're not just following the kids. Yes, the pilot is narrated by one of the kids, but everybody is an equal part of the show, and you're supposed to care about everybody and, want to follow everybody. And so to me, that was, I think, also a pleasant surprise, because I think so many times you have this weird divide between the lives.
Yeah. See, that was, I genuinely adored the show too, and I thought it was I thought it was a really strong pilot, and it surprised me, but I will say one of the issues, I didn't think that they handled the adults well enough.
Because not forever. If that's the balance going forward, I think that I would find myself wanting more from people, but I do feel like I got a good handle on who everybody is, and I want to see more from everybody. So that's where I'm coming at in terms of and I mean that across the board. Will we ever know everything about anybody? No. But at the same time, I felt like there was an entry point into everyone's world.
No, for me, I hesitated before watching it. I put it off a good amount of time, because even though I had people at Fox promise me it's really not sad.
It's but nobody can say that, because sometimes you just get emotional over things. So they can't tell you it's not sad.
Right, but I was really concerned about the tone of the show, and I was really pleasantly surprised. I thought they handled it really well. I thought it was not a downer, which I think is going to be the interesting sell, because I think a lot of people are, no matter how many times you or I or anyone is going to say this is not a sad show,
right,
it's still the issue of convincing people of that enough to make
right.
them
And there will be sad moments.
Of course, and there needs to be, otherwise it's inauthentic.
Right, but there will be people who look at the pilot and go, I did find that sadder than you found it, because whatever they bring to it.
Right.
But honestly, that's part of why I wanted to talk about it, because there will be people who just blanket don't want to even give it a shot because of its subject matter, and who knows how many people will take my word for it to give it a shot, but I'd rather a few more try it, because I said, hey, it's fun, which is a weird thing to say about a show with that focuses on kids with cancer. It is fun. There's a lot of fun in it.
But for me, I didn't find the adult balance well handled. I thought, because there are a lot of kids, and that's an issue where
there are a lot.
They gave, understandably, more time to the kids, and there was a lot of focus. I felt like I had a much clearer idea. I think Octavia, you know who her character is, because you don't need, first of all, it's Octavia, so she will do a lot with a little.
Well, and that's what I'm saying.
But it's also something where it's the rest of them,
I feel like you understand Brittany a little bit. Like, she's new. And
right.
so, you know what I mean? Like,
But
I think that says it all to me, is when, like, you're new and you're making mistakes when you first get there, like, and the way that you handle the mistakes that you've made with your superior, that to me says a lot about who you are. I'm not saying that says anything about, like, where she came from or who her
it's just
boyfriend
where
is
Octavia,
or whatever.
Like, when you look at this, you have Octavia Spencer, and I understand this is not the Octavia Spencer's vehicle, but at the same time, I wonder, like, I didn't count, but I'm curious how much screen time she actually had in that pilot. Like, you would...
It wasn't a lot compared to, you know,
anyone
some
else.
of the kids.
To all of the kids.
I don't know.
I say all, but maybe one or two of the kids. I feel like... So I feel like when you're not even servicing Octavia Spencer, I mean, obviously she might not have, they could have beefed up the role from what they had originally from when she got involved. But yeah, I mean, I like it. I'm really enjoying what they've done so far, but I really, really hope the balance evens out a little bit more with later episodes of the adults, just because, I mean, you have to, I don't know I imagine I'm probably closer to their ages than I am to the kids' age, but I can't imagine working that kind of job. And that would be curious to see what that does to a person. Like, I know it's not necessarily the show about them.
No,
but at
that's,
the same time,
that's why
I would like to be able to see both of those things. Like, you don't need to have, like, every episode saying, like, okay, they're falling apart over this, but I'd like to get...
getting on.
No. Okay, but I'd like to get glimpses of beyond, like, the barest minimum of what this is doing to them. Otherwise, they're just caricatures.
Right. I think that in the early, at least in the pilot, especially because I haven't seen anything since the pilot, I feel like I got that was not necessarily in dialogue or specific scenes, but it's in the way the actors carry their characters.
Right.
Like, it's in the way they react to the kids. So that, I mean, yeah, obviously as time goes on and as they get closer to certain patients than others, we'll see all those, like, little nuances and dynamics. But I don't know that I would suddenly want to spend a whole bunch of time with them, like, lamenting something.
But you can easily have a throwaway line of dialogue between two saying, if there's changing of shift, saying, wasn't a good shift, and then you move on, and there's something. There are ways to kind of make
you absolutely can.
Yeah,
I don't know that they will.
No, my just thing was, I'm not saying they need to do X, Y, and Z. I'm just saying that I didn't necessarily agree that there was a good balance.
Oh, okay.
That's all.
Okay.